Hello again, everyone. It's Vince from TradingWinds.com, and this is our update for May 3rd, 2020. Hope everyone's having a great weekend so far. Let's take a quick look at how the markets finished off on Friday. We did see a bit of a sell-off on the equity markets, the Dow finishing lower by 622 points. And this is going to be an important week ahead here as we're retesting on several charts here. If you look at the Dow, we're back to that upsloping 20 and right at the top of the cloud. So this is a very important zone. If this holds and takes out the recent high from 3 days ago, that will certainly kick off another leg higher. But if this doesn't hold here and we get back below the cloud, we could be in for a retest of these March lows. The S&P 500 was lower by almost 82 points. And again, we're approaching the top of the cloud and that upsloping 20. Big test ahead for the S&P 500. The NASDAQ, down 285 points and approaching that 20 as well, while the Russell was down by 50 points. And this one is also pulling back to that upsloping 20, but is a lot closer to the bottom portion of that Ichimoku cloud. The bond market holding on here, not doing much on Friday, and the yield on the 10-year note holding steady. It is now at 0.616%. Crude oil had a decent day, up 85 cents or 4.5%. But again, this is in for a major retest here as we are back to that downsloping 20. We're back above the 50 line on the RSI. Any bit of downside here gets the RSI back below the 50 and could kick off a retest of those lows or even potentially take us into negative territory again on that June contract. Gold up 16 points on Friday, or almost 1%. It is also back at a significant level of support. So a lot of retests going on this week. Very, very important here. We'll get a much clearer picture by the end of the week. USD CAD bouncing here and just finishing near the top of the cloud, although there is downward momentum. And if you look at the dollar index, it's certainly, what do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 6 or 7 straight days of downside here. And we closed out the week at the low, so not a good sign there. If we take a bit of a broader look at the markets, let's look at the different sector ETFs here. Energy, again, you're going to see a lot of retests now. Some of these are just pulling back towards that 20. Others have already made their way through that 20. You'll notice as we go through energy, not quite back to the 20. Same with technology, not quite there, but certainly looks like it's going to retest this week. Utilities, you can see, has busted through that 20, so a bit of a bearish signal there. XLY, yet to approach it. XRT, same thing, on its way. Communication ETF as well. Although real estate did close below there on Friday. Financials are right at the 20. Healthcare, this has been the best performer, and again is right back at an area of support, right on that 20. Although this one looks like it could present us with another long setup here early this week. You can see we closed at 47.82 on the RSI, so just below that 50. If we cross back above or close back above this week, we get another setup to the long side there, so that looks pretty decent. Consumer staples, though, as you can see, closed below that 20 on Friday. Industrials are right there, and one more for you here. Materials about to test it this week. So again, very, very similar look across most charts this week, and many are about to retest those very, very important levels. Now, this week ahead for news, economic data points. Light week for news, but an important one. If you look at Monday, we get the factory orders number. Tuesday, we get Redbook and ISM manufacturing. Then Wednesday, we get the MBA mortgage apps number. And we get the ADP non-farm payroll numbers, the private payroll numbers. along with crude oil inventories. Thursday, we get jobless claims again and consumer credit. And then Friday, we get the big employment situation report and wholesale trade. So these employment numbers, again, we've been getting a real ugly picture from the jobless claims. Now we get a look at the actual employment numbers, both private on Wednesday as well as the full employment situation report on Friday. So again, this could be an interesting week with these economic data points coming out. You know, and some of the states reopening. You know, these retests, these levels are going to be very, very important. Will they hold? Won't they hold? That's going to be the big question. But we're not far from finding out. We're only a few days away. So keep an eye on the futures tonight. Let's see how the Asian markets open. But I don't expect anything too wild. I haven't heard anything other than the Berkshire Hathaway meeting that took place over the weekend. They've taken some substantial losses, but they always do when the market pulls back. That's just their way of doing things. Now, you know, they're sitting on a lot of cash, and you know, Warren mentioned that he's waiting. He doesn't see anything great right now, but he's certainly willing to go big if he does see something good. He did say he sold all of his airline stocks earlier on, and a few other things. I'm sure you can find all the details on it, either on CNBC or just Google the Berkshire Hathaway shareholder meeting. You'll get all the details, but always an interesting read. Anyway, let's see what this week brings. Again, let's keep an eye on the futures as we head into the open tomorrow. And of course, we will be live at 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, another live market chat. So we'll have the morning session behind us. We'll see where we're at, and we'll go from there. So I hope to see you there, but that's about it for now. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you on our next update.